is there a controversy about the dates of the birth of Jesus and the death of Herod compared with the Dead Sea Scroll calendar? Jim Rankin visited the Guard of the Ark of the Covenant in Ethiopia. Is there updated proof? As far as someone visiting that, I know the legends of it. I don't know anybody that's ever been there. And so I don't know if, and I've never been there. So I don't know if there's any way to prove that or not. But as far as the dates, as far as that goes, it's usually got something to do with an incomplete history. So, for instance, they talk about how, well, the scriptures talk about Jesus was born when Quintinius was governor or was procurator or whatever. Anyway, but it mentions the guy's name. And a lot of people say, well, he wasn't there in 1 or 2 BC. He was there in 6 BC. Well, yes, he was. He was there in 6 BC doing some work. Then he left to do something else. Then he came back to do a count or something anyway, was in charge again. And then he left. And he may have done that other times too. So that's the kind of situation we're dealing with. In the Dead Sea Scrolls, though, they make it clear that the Messiah died 1 Shemitah after the end of the 9th Jubilee of the 8th Una of that second age. That's 32 AD, period. Now, we see that Jesus is baptized when he's almost 30 years old. And then we see a Passover and a Hanukkah and a Passover and a Tabernacles and a Passover. So you can tell it's several years later. So he has a 3.5 year ministry and then dies on that next Passover. So if he's almost 30 and then there's 3.5 years and he dies on Passover, that tells us when he died. So that means if we back up, he would have been born on our calendar, basically 2 BC. And there's a lot of evidence that would point to 2 BC, not just the Dead Sea Scrolls, but there's some other things. Well, yeah, but Herod wasn't alive in 2 BC, according to certain documents, but he was in other documents. So again, it's one of those things. When did Herod die? Well, which Herod? And he died when so and so was governor. Well, was it the first time or the second time? So there's a lot of things like that. And I'm not sure we can absolutely prove or disprove any of that kind of stuff. Sometimes we can, but not too often. And it's same kind of stuff that happened when it talks about Pharaoh Pico, I think it was, one of the pharaohs invaded Israel. And they say, well, he wasn't a pharaoh until this date, and that was after the death of that guy. Like, yes, but he was a prince and did an assault for his father, the king, at a certain date. Now we have records saying that. Later on, he became pharaoh. So he could have done, and then probably assaulted them again. But was it the first one or the second one? Well, the first one fits with the biblical narrative. The second one doesn't. So what we need to be doing is, if it could be one of 2 dates and the scripture says it was that one, we'll just go with that. But secular society wants to discredit the Bible all the time. So they're always saying, well, it says the first one, we'll take the second one. There you go. And so it's just interesting that way. So that's about all I could say for that one.